This is Joy News Prime. I'm Ernest Mino, and coming up, Accra Metropolitan Assembly officials pulled down an eatery operating under unsanitary conditions.
Fecal matter. So the fecal matter flies to come into where the fecal matter is and go and step on the food that you are selling for public consumption. Look at what is happening here. So how many times have we warned you not to sell or not to prepare food here and sell for public consumption? How many times?
We have more on our Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Also, Speaker of Parliament incensed over harassment and threat of arrest on some members of Parliament by the police. He warns he will not countenance such acts in the future.
It's not during my tenure of office that I will sit still, stare, and allow those things to be flouted with impunity. It won't happen.
Meanwhile, a case of contempt filed against the police by the Medina MP has been referred to the Privileges Committee. We'll bring you details. Also here on Joy News Prime, Health Services Workers Union strike continues to bite as scores of patients bear the brunt of their action.
My child had a surgery, so I came for a review today. Unfortunately, they are not around because I thought I was coming to see the doctor as they've already given me a date.
We'll take you to some major health facilities across the country where healthcare delivery has stalled. Coming up in business.
Court throws out appeal by ENI seeking to challenge government's directive on unitization of Afina and Sankofa oil fields.
We have details of these and more here on Joy News Prime, coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kukumlemle here in Accra. We're live on DSTV channel 421, Go TV at 144. This is the home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Stay tuned in. Hello again, many thanks for joining us. Now, if you love to buy your food by the roadside, what you're about to see might be a little startling. Imagine your favorite fried rice being cooked in a dirty environment, and as if that is not enough, right by fecal matter. Well, this was the situation at an eatery near the Neoplan station at Circle here in Accra when officials of the AMA stormed the place. My colleague Judith Architando was with the team and reports the shop has been closed down.
At a guest house at Circle around Neoplan Station. Now this guest house has been operating since the June 3rd floods without a toilet facility for over 20 occupants, and also it doesn't have a septic tank, and so when people defecate they come and throw it in a container right by.
Here is a resident that they have shops here, they have a restaurant here, they have a drinking bar here. And there is a suspected guest house here that we want to check. So we are going in there to start our inspection to check the sanitation situation here. What is going on here? What do you do here? So is it your kitchen or your serving room? What do you do here?
I do cook and serve.
Look at what is happening here. This is fresh. This meat just come from the fire. And you yourself have created an unhygienic condition around where you are preparing the food. You get it? So just imagine that where you are preparing the food is in this bad condition. And people are sitting right there waiting for you to come and serve them. Huh? What is happening here? Can you tell us? Look at the corner where you are preparing the food.
I'm preparing the food.
No, where? Look at the sanitation. Where is it in a good condition? Where you are preparing the food?
I'm about to arrange it.
You're about to arrange it, and you are preparing the food under the bad condition. Just look at what is happening. William, here. Come. Hey. So this is fecal matter. So the fecal matter flies to come into where the fecal matter is and go and step on the food that you are selling for public consumption. Look at what is happening here. So how many times have we warned you not to sell or not to prepare food here and sell for public consumption? How many times? This is fecal matter. And you don't even mind, and you are selling food, you are preparing your food close to it. Look at what is happening. So we are come to confiscate all these things because the food that is preparing there is not in a good condition. So we will not allow you to sell it for public consumption. So please, we'll confiscate all your items. We'll take back to the office. Go and identify a place where it's more hygienic condition. Then we'll come and give you items to go and prepare the food. So please, because we give you several warnings that don't prepare the food here. You could see physics here. Can't you see what is happening there? So how many times should we come and talk to you? The begging will not solve anything. We are talking about the health of the public. So begging AMA will not solve anything. How many? That's what I'm asking. How many times should we not to come and tell you that don't come to sell, prepare the food and sell it here? Because the environmental condition here is not favorable to your activity, but you keep on preparing the food close to where the fecal matter is.
Sir, if you can ask, where exactly is this fecal matter coming from?
This fecal matter is coming from this building. And that's what I'm saying. It's been a very long time that this building has been there. So the septic tank has broken down. But they also keep on using the tank.
So this is human feces?
Yes. So from here we'll go and find the landlord and we'll find out what is causing this. Because the thing is blocked. So since the thing is blocked, all the fecal material will just come and stack in there.
Okay, so this is a mini restaurant that is selling food right by fecal matter. And so the food has been sold here for some years now, and according to the AMA, they have visited this area several times and told them to leave or stop cooking here, but they have not done that, and they keep cooking food by fecal matter, human feces, that's going right into a container right by them. And so the AMA is breaking down their facility and stopping them from working with immediate effect.
Guy be our repower dear no. We are not the home combo.
So for now, no more occupy on even a toilet.
No, the only now go outside. I didn't mean station.
So come. These are fresh feces. You understand? So if they all go outside to go, I'm telling you.
On your it's so we know a wood. But you stop woman
in the Siana, one more kind of war for 1 month. No, your mouse are bankrupt away. Next week we are taking the house to court. So that why you are not interested about the property. If the property don't belong, you are the caretaker. So please take it and communicate to your landlord. We finish our work.
Reporting for Joy News, my name is Judith Awache Tando.
Teachers in the district capital of KJB have issued a one-week ultimatum to the district assembly to fix the unsanitary conditions at the Abattoir or face their wrath. A renovation of the original facility, which began 3 years ago, is yet to be completed. The situation has resulted in the processing and sale of meat under unhygienic conditions. Peter Sanu has more in the following report. Viewers are warned the pictures could be disturbing.
This is not fire outbreak, but how meat is processed for public consumption in the district capital of KJB, here in the Oti region. This is the status quo over 3 years now, as meat for public consumption is processed under very unsanitary condition, without any protective clothing, with bare feet, and some in just slippers. Meat is getting ready for the market. Joining sources say there have been some engagements between the butchers, traditional authorities, and the assembly to bring this insanitary condition under control, but have yielded no result as of the time of filing this report. A resident who lives very close to where the animals are killed say she has suffered the brunt of the smoke and the stench that comes from the place. I was not happy when I heard animals will be killed at my backyard. The smoke enters my room and the stench is unbearable when the sun is up. It is a worry to me. I became ill as a result of this. I am appealing to the leadership at Assembly to complete works on the building for them to move in. When Joy News contacted the Assembly, the District Coordinating Director, Al-Hassan Suleimana, declined commenting on the matter on record except to say there were no funds to pay the contractor to finish the project, and also had asked the butchers to move into the uncompleted facility. The butchers have declined this offer as the facility has no water for the processing of meat, and the biogas facility to burn the meat is also uncompleted. The butchers are asking for immediate attention as the development is affecting their business.
You yourself look the board, look the place we are slaughtering animals. Even yourself is good for you. It's not good for me, it's not good for you. But you have to make it well. We are speaking to help us so that the elders also come, the council, veterinary officers, they should come with seats. They should come, even if they no go fit do the thing for us, they should pass law to us so that we will contribute the money to repair the place they are, so that we go there.
Before I can sell the meat, there is a need. I keep everything very neat so that people can patronize me. But looking at the environment over here, I don't think there will be an individual who passed here and then see how the environment look like and still patronize me. Even because of this, there is sales breakdown in our business now. Everything is becoming so down gradually, and we are pleading still so the government will intervene in this.
They say if nothing is done within a week, they would be compelled to demonstrate by killing the animals at the Assembly premises.
We are so serious. Almost say they know am I come where the renovation of my baby.
We are unable to work whenever it rains. We are just appealing to the Assembly to act on this now, else we would send our animals there for killing. The inspection done by the veterinary service is also futile, as the meat could be contaminated by the unhygienic condition at the site. Peter Sanu for Joy News.
Their strike is only 2 days old, but already patients are bearing the brunt of the industrial action. The suspension of services by the Health Services Workers Union is over their conditions of service, which they describe as poor. In the Ashanti region, healthcare delivery has grounded to a halt. Ohim Interior of our health desk reports that hundreds of patients have been left stranded.
Health facilities have been reduced to ghost towns following the industrial action by health services workers. The usually busy outpatient departments are virtually empty, with no activities. There are no winding queues, just empty spaces. Few nurses idling around take time to speak to some patients caught up in the strike. Many patients had no prior information of the strike by members of the Health Services Workers Union. This woman brought her sick baby to the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital, but was shocked to see this empty space.
I came for a review. My child had a surgery, so I came for a review today. Unfortunately, they are not around, because I thought I was coming to see the doctor as they've already given me a date. But when I came and I saw that nobody was around, I was shocked. The place is always busy. So many chairs. You see the place busy, doctors going around, nurses working as usual. But today the place is empty, and I'm quite disappointed.
The leadership of the Health Services Workers Union is satisfied with the high level of compliance by members. Douglas Kusi is the local branch chairman at the Konfanoche Teaching Hospital.
Virtually the hospital has become a ghost town. If you come here every other day, I mean, how busy, especially where we are standing here. So if you look at today, then it means that it's a very pathetic situation, you know, for all of us. But the question that probably you ask yourself is that who do you blame? Is it the Health Services Workers Union or government? And I'm sure your guess will be as good as mine. Because, you know, we are giving government adequate notice. In fact, if you look at this the reason why we are even on strike. But the negotiations started since 2019. What has even pushed us to take this action is that we feel that we are being discriminated against. In fact, if you go around the hospital, it's not here alone. Everywhere, activities have come to a halt. But I feel that it's very sad because as for sickness, all of us can fall sick at any point in time. But there's nothing that we can do about it for now.
Meanwhile, management of health facilities, including CARTS, say they have instituted measures to ensure patients with emergency needs receive care. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Waimi Teria reporting.
And the impact of the strike is also being felt in the northern region. Correspondent Martina Bugui joins us via Zoom. Martina, what can you tell us about the strike in the region?
Region at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, they are not admitting new patients, and only those who are currently on admission are being taken care of. Now, even those who are currently on admission, the situation is not good for them at all because there are no cleaners to ensure that the place is clean, and so the place is very filthy. You go around the whole hospital and the entire place is in a mess. People who have stroke and would need physiotherapy cannot actually get that now. Children who are malnourished and would need nutritionists and dietitians cannot have that service as well. And major other services are currently not taking place. And when I spoke to the public relations officer of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, Ms. Bao Mohammed, he described it as everything has broken down. The system is broken down because nothing is coming in and nothing is going out. It says that they are suffering indeed because the whole place is in a total mess. That's how he described.
Martina, this is the situation in Tamale, the capital, and of course the Tamale Teaching Hospital. But what have you gathered about allied health facilities within the region? How effective is this strike?
Now, it's across the entire region, and so not just Tamale Teaching Hospital, but the other satellite hospitals in the metropolis are also affected. And what we are being told is that they would not move in, they would not work until they get something positive from government. So this means that it's going to affect every health facility in the region. Now, the peculiar problem of the northern region is that already we don't have too many health centers. And so with this strike coming in, it means that it's going to make the situation more worse than it's already in the region.
Do you have any word from hospital administrators on how they are managing the situation?
When I spoke to the PRO for TTH, he says that there is nothing they can do. Somebody has been employed to clean, the person is not there. Somebody has been employed to take x-ray, the person is not there. They don't have anything they can do now. Now, patients who need to be treated, the doctors are there, the nurses are there, but those who would help them with the necessary materials they would need to, the logistics they would need to work are not there. So how do they work? They definitely can't work. That's the situation.
Very well. Martina, thank you very much for bringing us the update of the strike in the northern region. Let's go on to the phone now. We are joined by Franklin Owusu-Ansah, who is the General Secretary of the Health Services Workers Union. Mr. Owusu-Ansah, I'm grateful that you could join us here on Joy News Prime. You heard our correspondent talk about the plight of patients, families stranded, also in the Ashanti region. We got a report on the situation. They are simply pleading with you to call off the strike so you can attend to them. How do you respond to that?
Thank you. Yes, it is said in our local proverb that when two elephants fight, definitely the grass suffers. And this is the situation that we find ourselves. I don't think we have any problem with any patient or any family. It is just that the employer and the employee has certain differences that needs to be settled. I want to believe that, like it is being rumored that some of the employers or employers' representatives are saying that even even when the health services workers union members are not there, they'll still be able to deliver service. I don't think this is the right time to be fighting over this.
Is that what you are picking up from the other, health professionals?
Well, I say it is being rumored. What we got is that the Minister for Employment is speaking with his colleague, Minister of Finance, and for that matter, something good will come up very soon. Let's hope that their consultations, they speed up their consultations, knowing the plight of the clients and also knowing the plight of Ghanaians. They will also speed up. It is two-way thing. So as much as you are pleading with us to go back, I think same please should go back to the ministry that they should also taking their discussion such that we will be able to reach a conclusion.
Very well.
If two parties have misunderstanding and it's always the play going to one side, then it looks as if one side is being difficult, but that is not the situation.
Very well. Thank you very much. That's Franklin Osuansa, the General Secretary of the Health Services Workers Union there. Two senior police officers who attempted to arrest Medina MP Francis Xavier Susu are expected to appear before the Privileges Committee of Parliament. This follows a petition by Mr. Susu in which he cited the Greater Accra Regional Police Operations Commander ACP Isaac Kojo Asante and ACP Eric Wingfold, the Adenta Abokobi Police Divisional Commander, for contempt of Parliament. There's more in the following report.
The petition, standing in the name of MP for Medina, Francis Xavier Susu, wants the House to probe the two senior officers over their conduct during a demonstration he led in his constituency. But even before the House could make a determination on the petition, the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Makin, on a point of order, quizzed the MP on whether there was an official notification to the Speaker before the issue was brought up for consideration. The move to arrest the motion angered some minority MPs, including the Minority Leader, Haruna Idrisu. Listen to some of the arguments advanced by both sides of the House.
Just a clarification. The provision there is clear that provided he has previously notified Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he didn't add that to his submission to the effect that he has previously notified you of this application. I only wanted to be sure that this has been so done because, Mr. Speaker, there was a similar application during your temporary absence and objection came from the Deputy Minority Leader.
You didn't even avail yourself for complaint. You just came in. Habib was holding the fort for all of you. That's what I'm saying. Don't spoil the temperature here.
Speaker, you don't answer for Speaker. I am called from Mr. Speaker, and you want to answer for Mr. Speaker. I am only asking because that was your concern.
The Speaker, sensing an escalation of tempest, intervened and called the House to order, in which he asked the MPs to rise above pettiness.
Let me emphasize that matters of contempt of Parliament or members of Parliament or staff of Parliament are serious matters. Very, very serious matters. These are the building blocks of democracy. If we allow that to be eroded, we have no legs to stand on. You don't joke with that. You are not just members of Parliament. You are leaders. And if leaders cannot even take care of their constituents, what is your value? They have given all their destiny to you to lead them. Lead them to have better lives. Protect us. Defend us. Care for us. Make sure we enjoy the fundamental human rights and freedoms that are guaranteed in the Constitution. so that we can exercise our potential to the fullest. You have that responsibility and you have to discharge it. That is why you are given special rights. So when we are dealing with contempt, it's not one of those issues that you can toy with. And I take a serious view of it. I am the one to determine. If I'm not notified, I will say so. I will hold the person and say, you are out of order. Go back and do the proper thing.
With calm setting in, Mr. Soso was given the floor to present his petition and narrated how he fled home for fear of being arrested by the police.
The police officers under the command of the said ACP Isaac Kojo Asante, the regional operations commander, and Eric Winfo, the divisional commander of Adenta Abokobi, led their boys to manhandle me, their men to manhandle me and virtually held me and humiliated me right in the presence of my constituents with whom we were demanding for better roads. Honorable Speaker, but for the fact that the youth ganged up to rescue me from the hands of the police, they would have just bundled me like a common criminal into their standing vehicle. And Mr. Speaker, when the youth eventually supported me and got me into my vehicle, Mr. Speaker, the said police officers stood in front of my vehicle and continued to bang my vehicle and refused that they were not going to allow me to leave the venue of the demonstration until I mustered courage and sped off the area. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the conduct of the said two officers are clear. They are clearly in contempt of the work that I do as a member of parliament and in contempt of this parliament. I didn't see the reason why, as a sitting member of parliament of this august house, the police will manhandle me in that manner. To the extent that, Mr. Speaker, when I left, there were intas all over that the police had sent people to my house, to my area, and I could not even stay in my own house for the last 48 hours.
Mr. Babin subsequently referred the matter to the Privileges Committee and warned he would not countenance any move to intimidate or belittle the country's MPs.
In the circumstances, I can only, under Order 31, direct that the matter be referred to the Committee of Privileges. The committee will investigate the complaint and will submit a report to the House for the full consideration of the matter. At the end of the day, it is the House that will determine whether the complaint and the report, with whatever evidence gathered, really did constitute contempt of Parliament.
For Joy News, I am Chrissy Parker-Wilson.
My name is Ernest Mino and this is Joy News Prime. Coming up in business, court throws out appeal by ANI seeking to challenge government's directive on unitization of Afina and Sankofa oil fields. Charles IT has details in business after this break. Stay with us. Time now for business, and Charles IT is here with the latest. And Charles, today we understand the court has thrown out ANI's appeal to have Sankofa in 10, put together.
Exactly. This follows a protracted case in court over the past few years. But in this particular report, we shall deal with the implications moving forward. Of course, as you've rightly heard, an Accra High Court has thrown out a request by Italian oil firm ANI to hold the unitization of its fields with that of Springfield. George Riafi has been going through this court document and has this update for us.
The Accra High Court Commercial Division, presided over by Justice Kwesi Mensah, in his ruling, described the appeal as incompetent based on how the request was submitted. There were also concerns about the release being sought by ANI and Vitol, which was not in line with the rules of the court. It also maintained that the Minister of Energy at that time, of issuing the directive that the Afina and Sankofa wells should be unified, acted within the laws of the land as well as the laws covering the various petroleum agreements in the country. ENI and Vitol, following this ruling, have lost all their appeals seeking to challenge this directive. The recent one was when they tried to stop the creation of an escrow account for all the oil exploration funds to be placed in it while the issues were still in court. This might have led them to take the matter to the International Court of Arbitration in London for a final ruling on this issue. Some experts have warned that delays in resolving this matter is seeing Ghana lose millions of dollars. ENI and Vitol on April 12 this year filed an appeal seeking to challenge the Energy Minister's directive on utilization of the Afina oil discovery in the West Cape 3 points in the Sankofa oil field. Also tried to challenge the declaration that the minister did not follow due process of the law in issuing the purported directive, an order seeking to stop Springfield from taking any action to enforce this directive. But all these requests were thrown out by the court.
And we shall follow that case closely to give you updates as and when. But away from that, traders at the Bubulishi market have indicated that the increment of the price of petroleum products in the country has taken a toll on their sales. The price of fuel has gone up several times this year, 13 times actually, and there are more hikes expected as the price of Brent crude rises on the international market. James Eshen visited the Bubulishi markets to examine the impact of the fuel price hikes on the operations of traders there.
There has been consistent upward trend in the price of food in the country recently. According to the Ghana Statistical Service, food inflation in the month of September stood at 10.9%. We are here at the Bubulishi market to speak to this market women to know how they've been impacted, especially with the price of petroleum products being increased. Increment na come na
food stuff are really expensive these days because the drivers who convey our yam to the market charge us more. The customers are also not buying the yam.
Now same one you two petrol money diesel money idea or more for money on my banon it's saying that
after the increment of petroleum products, the customers are not showing up to purchase the foodstuff. The customers cannot afford some of them.
Yeah, bread because all your boy ding.
Life is unbearable for us. Buying oil from the market has been very expensive. We are really suffering.
3 million. And this I'm 20 million. Wow, I'm send me to me
I sell cow meat. Conveying the meat to the market is really expensive these days. A pound of cow meat is now 12 cedis, but it was 9 cedis 50 pesos previously.
It appears it's similar here in the market. The market women are all basically complaining that it's not been easy for them here in the market. Our foodstuffs is already, you could see with me here. But when you listen to the concerns of this market women, it clearly tells you that it's not been easy for them here. Clearly tells you that there has been some increment in the prices of food products we have in the market, and this is definitely in line with the increments of petroleum products we have in the country. For Joy Business, James Eshen.
Well, that'll be it for business. We have sports coming next. To stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. And President of the Ghana Football Association, Keto Kraku, says his outfit will continue to work with security agencies to clamp down on hooliganism in football. Now, the football governing body was blamed for their inability to curb violence at various match venues last season. But Keto Kraku is optimistic of ensuring players, officials and fans are safe before, during and after league games.
This was a chaotic scene at the Sunyani Coronation Park in the match between BA United and Real Tamale United in Zone 1 of the Division 1 League last season. The fans were angry and upset at the decision of the center referee, Maxwell Hansen, to award a penalty to RTU. The game was eventually abandoned and RTU had to be escorted out of Sunyani by the police. The violent scene is just one of many to have transpired in the 2020-2021 Ghana football season. Officials and players were not the only victim of the violence. Coaches were also left frustrated.
My worry is that the officials were threatened. They were insulted, threatened that they would beat them, as had happened in the one man so far or something. And so the referees were
I think they were intimidated.
They were intimidated. Now they at the tunnel, they told them that if even one of them chased them into this, I was not even chasing him into the room, telling him if they should lose, they would beat him like the one man for something.
Yeah. Many blamed the GFA, but the president of the football governing body, Kurt Okreku, said it is not his responsibility to arrest perpetrators and further charged the police to do so. But the Ghana Police Service, speaking to Joy Sports, insists they set out to protect lives and properties at match centers and not immediately arrest hooligans.
So our presence at football matches, we are ensuring general security, but also security for the officials. So this will be the referees and the match commissioners. Security for the playing body. Security for spectators. Security for properties that are in the stadium and surrounding areas. Because at the end of the whistle, police often escorts the officials and the playing body out of the area and see to it that spectators are also out and safe.
The recent launch of the 2021-2022 football season means domestic competitions will start and issues of hooliganism are likely to resurface. GFA boss Kurt Okreku is urging the Inspector General of Police and other security agencies to come to their aid and help eradicate the canker.
You can't prevent somebody from misbehaving, but when it is that it happens, there are rules that you have to follow. And I think over last season, we did our maximum. We continue to educate people. I think that the educational drive will be intensified this year. And hopefully, we would be able to minimize the act of hooliganism that we all went through. It's important that people understand that there are always three results in the game: a win, a draw, or a defeat. It's simple. Okay? And when it is that you're not happy, there are laid down procedures for you to address your concerns. And we must respect the laid down procedures that we have. I think that we've done our best and we continue to do our best in terms of engaging the security agencies. I've gone as far as the IGP, but we'll continue to work for football in this country. The judicial bodies are working, and we would also encourage the IGP and his personnel also to be by our side.
The Ghana Premier League is set to start this Friday, October 29, with other competitions following suit subsequently.
Let's get you some updates from the EFL Cup in England. Of course, some of the games were played yesterday, and as you can see on your screen, 46 minutes of the action done. It's goalless between Burnley and Spurs. Half-time between Leicester City and Brighton and Hove Albion. Leicester lead by 2-1. Preston currently holding Liverpool to a goalless draw. It's half-time between Stoke and Brentford. Brentford lead by 2-0, and it's half-time between Manchester City and West Ham United, goalless in that game. In the Spanish La Liga, Mallorca won Sevilla 1 full-time in that game. Rayo Vallecano have beaten Barcelona by 1-0. 84 minutes done between Real Betis and Valencia. Betis lead by 4-1, and Real Madrid locked goalless against Osasuna. Serie A has got Juventus. They lost by 2-1 against Sassuolo. Udinese drawing 1-1 against Verona. Sampdoria also losing by 3-1 at home to Atalanta in the Italian Serie A. Those are some of the games that have happened today in the major European leagues. That's it for now. We'll bring you more sports later in the bulletin.
And after leaving me alone, he's back here today with entertainment. My brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So your man is now out of court. I mean, out of prison custody.
Yeah. On the 9th November, he's going back again. So not entirely a free man, but let's be hopeful that things work in his favor.
All right. What have you brought us today?
So this evening we have something on Menaye Donko, who's been talking about the opportunities he's been able to give young ladies in terms of Miss Ghana Universe.
That's been running for some time.
Exactly. Yeah. So on Friday they'll be unveiling a new one who's going to be representing us on international stage. So she speaks about giving young ladies opportunity to empower them by virtue of the Miss Ghana Universe.
I'm just so grateful that I'm in the position to actually do this, to empower these young ladies. And as I say always, they are global ambassadors. We're giving them a voice that they can use to amplify their causes, a voice that they can use to, for social issues. They really can become anything that they want to be once they have this platform. As I say always, beauty sells. So once you are put in that position, you can always use your beauty and intelligence to push whatever ideas or plans you have as an individual, as a young woman. So I'm so grateful to be in this position and to be of help for this young women that we work with.
Yeah. Kudos to her, and all the best to whoever will be representing us.
Yeah, she'll be unveiled on Friday, so we look forward to that. And also, Ghanaians have been complaining about the fact that we're not really paying for music here in Ghana. People are not really streaming the music and all that. It all boils down to payment and using the Visa cards to, get the songs played for you and all that. Richard Admambeko is a pundit. He spoke on Showbiz A to Z, and he's been talking about why, we're going through that process and musicians are suffering from that. Here's more of that.
Do Ghanaians support Ghanaian music, Ghana music?
Yes.
Enough for it to get this foundation that, Rocky speaks of?
When you qualify it with the enough, it makes it difficult to stick to a yes or no. The way you qualify the question with enough, it makes it difficult to respond with a yes or no, because enough is relative. I think that Ghanaians can do more, but it's not entirely because they are not patriotic. It is because the demographics of persons who pay for music has not been widened enough. It's not been widened enough to be able to reflect in the numbers. Now, there are music users and there are people who pay. And it is through payments that will record most of the data that informs a track being this successful or making it to Billboard or any of the digital platforms and their charts. Now, this issue, this question again, I cannot answer with a yes or no because our kind of music and its consumption, somebody is wired in a manner that his or her favorite musician is Wiala. I believe we have the numbers, but primarily we haven't caught up with the new way of acquiring, paying for and using music. So you'd realize that people share music files amongst themselves.
I get the point he's making, but you see, once our digital payment channels or systems improve, I believe that it will reflect.
Oh yeah, it all boils down to the system. If we're able to put it in a way that you can easily pick music, we'll do better. Yeah.
All right, KMJ, thank you very much for
always
Showbiz. And that's it for Showbiz. Many thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. Dozens of job seekers pitched camp and spent the entire night in front of the WAS Sports Stadium ahead of Wednesday's screening for the Ghana Immigration Service. The applicants said they decided to spend the night at the gate in order to make it in time for the process. Joy News' Apple West regional correspondent Rafik Salam has more.
It's exactly midnight and I'm in front of the WAS Sports Stadium. The gates have temporarily been closed to the public. There are no lights here, and the street lights that overlook the WA airport are not functioning. Simply put, there is total darkness here, except the lights for mobile phones or passing vehicles or motorists. However, there are streams of dozens of prospective Ghana Immigration Service applicants here. They are not here to keep vigil, but hope to be recruited into a job that will enable them to make ends meet. Some are standing, chatting among themselves, and others seated on student mattresses with their backs leaned on the stadium gate. They have in their hands piece of paper writing the names of their colleagues for winning the screening exercise. They have already registered 65 persons. They are doing it on their own volition. None of the immigration service officers is on site.
I'm writing because if you are not in queue, and they will come and just be doing whatever they want to do here. So I'm writing the name, protocol or whatever. So I'm just writing the names for us to be in order, so that we get everything done at the right time.
But who has asked you to come and write the names?
Oh no, it's a voluntary work. Nobody asked me to do it. I'm just doing it for us, for here to be peace.
We're actually doing that to ensure that there is we have foreseen that there is going to be pressure. So we want to make sure that that pressure is not that much, so that when we do this, it will help us reduce the pressure that is going to be here. Other than that, some people are coming from far away places and we have been here. But we wait tomorrow, before you realize, people will just come around anytime they want and they will ignore those of us who have been here early and be using their own list. That's why we are doing this for our own.
They told me they will be passing the night here in the cold and in the open.
This is my address. This is my address. So I'm going to sleep here. I'll sleep here. That's my address. They are here. We are here till they come. We are not going anywhere.
I hope they will be selected legitimately after the exercise.
Oh, we will be picked, inshallah. Inshallah.
We have hope that we will be picked because we qualify. And then if they will pass through the legal process, in fact, we are all having the assurance that we will get the job.
Thousands of their colleagues are expected to join them this morning to continue unabated the struggle of trying to see whether luck will sign on them here. At least this is their first step of achieving their lifelong dreams, and every hour spent to make it happen is seen not as a waste, but worth it. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
And still in the Upper West region, over 1,200 prospective applicants of the Ghana Immigration Service in the region have gone through the first hurdle, which will enable them take part in Saturday's aptitude test. Rafik Salam reports that although the number of prospective applicants were huge, the process was to a large extent calm and orderly.
After keeping vigil and sleeping overnight in the cold and open, with mattresses at the frontage of the World Sports Stadium, they now have access to the inside of the stadium. Over 1,600 of them snailed at the World Sports Stadium, hoping to be employed by the Ghana Immigration Service. The job seekers, all morning with their documents, majority of them kept on a Fosca plastic envelope, stood on the scorching sun. Others also came with excess baggage in babies strapped at their backs.
I came here early dawn. I was here around early hours of 6 o'clock. I was here 6 a.m.
They are at their wet ends and appears to find solace in the limited job vacancies advertised by the security services.
The youth, we don't have anything to do. So if somebody comes up and gets something small for the youth to do, we'll do that to the tune of the person. Because you can't come and spend the whole years of your time in the university. At the end of the day, you not get anything to do. We had other opportunities. It won't force the majority of the youth to coin up and be fighting to get small slots for the security union. So with me and other youth, if not, assuming you had a field or a job, we will not be here. But now that you don't have anything to do, just to coin ourselves and buy a form and follow the procedure.
Apart from having a better life, some are attracted to the uniforms of the security services.
Why immigration service?
Yeah, I prefer that one because I enjoyed what they always do. And I always like being in their uniform, even though I've not worn one.
By midday, over 700 of them have gone through successful the process, and some being disqualified.
So when I went in for the first stage, they took my PDF printout and they scanned it to know whether I was qualified or not, whether it was authentic or not. So after that, they took my height and they checked through my details again and took me inside the room and went through my body to know whether I was having a scar of tattoo or a scar of surgery. And after that, they brought me outside and told me I'm done.
I engaged Upper West Regional Public Affairs Officer of the Ghana Immigration Service, Ibn Yusuf Durana Abdul Mumin Saidu, on what they expect from the prospective applicants.
Have so many tattoos on your body, automatically you are not qualified. A lot of straight marks, you are not qualified. Crooked legs, you are not qualified. If you also have, the ladies in particular, more piercings or whatever on your ears, because there is a standard, and that standard was part of the advert. So most of them are even aware. Those who actually read through the advert, they are aware of what we're talking about.
And so what about flat-footed?
Flat-footed is automatically a disqualification activity or feature.
But these are things that comes naturally.
Yes, in the natural point of view, we are trying to run away from the natural point of view to the specification point of view. The natural, we can't do anything about it. They also have an area to fix themselves. This is not the only place. Immigration is not the only home for employment. There are so many others out there.
So you have done over 700, and then how many have you disqualified so far?
In terms of the disqualification, because of the pressure, we are unable to separate or segregate that. But at the end of the day, we will be able to know how many people were qualified, how many people could not make it to the next stage.
In the next 2 days, over 3,400 job seekers will be here, hoping to cross the hurdle of documentation, body screening, certificate verification to enable them take part in Saturday's aptitude test. Reporting for Joy News, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Now in Accra, many thronged the Elwak Sports Stadium amidst long queues under the scorching sun, hoping to make it into the immigration service. A stark reminder of the country's worsening unemployment situation. After 5 years of looking for a job, a 30-year-old lady takes her chances with the immigration service, hoping this will be the last application she ever writes. Michael Papani has been interacting with her and other applicants in the following report. Hundreds of Ghanaians who have been hunting for jobs, some for years, finally found this opportunity. But the likelihood of landing a job is slim, considering the number of applicants chasing the 2,000 places available for the immigration service. V, as she would like to be known, has been hunting for a job since she completed university 5 years ago.
I'm 30 years of age. I went to the school at the age of 25 years, hoping to graduate and get a job, but it's not like that. When you finish school after national service, you have your national service certificate, you'll be applying for a job, but you cannot get it because Ghana does this. I don't know how the system works, because what we know is after school you should get a job, but when you complete school, it's not like that again, and you have to be struggling getting linear jobs for yourself to get some money for yourself. So that's the situation we find ourselves in.
One other frustrated graduate, who only gave his name as Emmanuel, recounts a similar ordeal after school. He has written countless applications and none turned out well.
I entered the university 2014 and I completed in 2018, hoping that after the university I'll be able to get a job to do and take care of myself and my family. Then I start my career life. And the journey was in the university. You hear people saying that upgrade yourself, do short courses, add to your degree, because life outside is not, we're just thinking like, why will you finish school and you know that definitely you get a job, and then they are telling us the stories. So eventually you finish, you will do your service. For this journey, it has been just after school, nothing else. After school, nothing else.
What year did you complete the university?
I completed 2018.
Emmanuel also recounts how COVID took his only means of survival.
So after my service, I've sent numerous applications. And
do you know how many you've written?
I can't count. Both handling physical and online account counts, applying online, sending CVs physical to various office account count. So for the unemployment issues, it's a huge issue that we have to tackle and stop this hype on social media, unnecessary talks, discussions about national issues. These are the whole national issues that we need to talk about. See the whole lot of graduates that we are here and we are not getting jobs to do. It's very bad.
Many have slept in the open, endured the scorching sun as they line up in queues simply to get into the immigration service. V has had a fair share of the struggles.
How has the job hunting process been going for you?
The job hunting is not easy at all because after national service, we all want to finish and get a job, but the stress after national service is not easy. Writing application here and there, you're not getting a job. Some people promise you and failing, and that's how it is. It's not working for us. That's why we are here. It's not easy. When we came here, the queue was so long, but God willing, I happened to pass through the process. So we are just hoping to write the aptitude test and see what we will get at the end.
While both are hopeful of making it into the service, V wants the service to reconsider the intake threshold.
Expectation is very high, hoping that I will meet all the requirements and now I'll be able to go to the next stage. Hoping that I'll get accepted and get employment with the Ghana National Immigration.
We are many. The whole Ghana recruited 2,000 is not enough because we have a lot of graduates who are not working, like just as myself, we are not working, nothing is going on. So recruiting 2,000 for me, I don't think it's enough, but at the end, it's Ghana for us.
So you have heard from some of the applicants. For some of them, they are hoping this is going to be the last application they ever have to write to enter into the service. Well, only time will definitely tell. Reporting for Joy News, Michael Papani Ashali.
And it's now time for fact-checking. We put a spotlight on President Akufo-Addo's claims on improvement in the Ghanaian economy during the recent interview on Peace FM. Head of our research desk, Raymond Akwa, has more on these claims and the verdict in this report.
Let's start with President Akufo-Addo's claim on inflation.
Inflation came down from nearly 16% to single digits, and it is now just crept over 10%.
This is true. According to the Ghana Statistical Service Consumer Price Index, the year 2016 ended with an inflation of 15.4%, which was the lowest since July 2014. Again, the year-on-year inflation for September 2021 was 10.6%, largely corroborating the claims by the president on inflation. Let's now turn our attention to the claim on Ghana's GDP growth rate for 2016.
2017, the last year of the predecessor government, rate of growth of the economy, 3.4%, the lowest in over 20 years.
The president's claim on the 2016 GDP being 3.4% is true, but the claim about this being the lowest in over 20 years is false. The lowest growth rate in the period under review was 2.1% recorded in 2015, according to the World Bank's national accounts data. The president further made claims about growth rate in 2017 and 2018.
Our first year rate of growth was over 8%. Second year, 7%.
The claim that the growth rate for 2017 was 8% is true. But the president's claim that growth rate for 2018 was 7% is false. According to the Statistical Services Annual GDP Growth Rate Report for 2013 to 2020, it was rather 6.2%.
Materials depicting the interest of persons aspiring for various positions in the New Patriotic Party has flooded the party's Ashanti Regional Delegates Conference. Banners and flyers were dominated by those of the Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and that of Trade Minister Alan Tremantin, who are widely speculated to be vying for the position of flag bearer for the NPP. Now, though nominations are yet to open for various positions in the party, subtle campaigning is ongoing. Nanaya Ojima was at the Regional Delegates Conference of the NPP and has filed this report.
Venue was awash with flyers suspected to be from the camp of Trade and Industry Minister Alan Chemanten. The front of the leaflet reads, 10 things to know about lawyer and economist Alan Chemanten. It profiles the 3-time failed presidential aspirant. The other side of the flyer, dubbed the Alan News, features what looks like news headlines, and key among them reads, why Alan Cash will win the NPP flag bearer race and defeat John Mahama 2024. Nana Prempe supports Alan Chemanten to contest the flag bearer position.
Yes, all the code of office is no. Not a single candidate have declared official intention, but all the candidates are followers. They have fan clubs, friends of Baumia, friends of Alan, Alan pretty ladies and those things. So you could see even the heart worry me. It's Alan 424. It's one of the pressure group that is champion for the coming of Alan Chemanten. So it's not official launching of any individual, by the fan group, the supporters who have putting together themselves to support their various candidates.
The grounds were also awash with T-shirts of Agric Minister Dr. Osu Akoto Efriye. It is speculated the former Kwadaso MP has interest in the NPP flag bearership. Here are some of his supporters.
We met him and we discussed with him, but he didn't make any point that he's coming. But we, the grassroots, are just yearning for him to come.
I think this is the time MPP party pushes the man, for the man to acquire that height, because the man has sacrificed for the party.
We wish that he will accept what the grassroots is pushing to be the flag bearer, so that our party can break the 80 gains that we are wanting to break.
Also on the grounds were banners with a picture of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, with the inscription, The People's Choice. The Vice President, who was invited for the occasion, was represented by Fred Owari.
2020, the 2024 there, the need enda Asante Manso. Sir, near Mwankasa Mubeyina Mabiano, also ni party for na and in the Mumbejina, no my Juma Pepe, no Kanka Mubio, say for Korea.
Meanwhile, General Secretary John Body says, though there is a ban on campaigns, declaration of intentions on billboards are tolerated. Some banners of John Boadu himself were on display.
Mobia starting campaign this year. If she said, "Upa starting campaign this year," near na Niama Ankoya, President Duma Oyano, Nya Obetumi Aye. Unamo Hela Meche, whether now 50% will be picture and no more we can accept. But the year said, "Upa starting campaign this year, you'll be distracted by this campaign by our own people." Not dear, so dear, and no. And our presidential candidates and our parliamentary candidates now their campaign for victory in 2024.
Other persons with interest in positions at both regional and national levels had banners all over the grounds. For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
The Bono East Regional Health Director, Dr. Fred Adumako-Boateng, has called on the people of the region to continue adhering to the safety protocols of COVID-19 despite the significant reduction of cases in the region. The region was tagged as an emerging hotspot by the Ghana Health Service after recording over 700 new cases in the month of August. Currently, it has 12 cases, a situation the health authorities say is as a result of measures implemented by the regional authorities. Anasabit has more.
The Bono East region recorded a total of 710 COVID-19 cases in August this year, a figure representing 28% of the cumulative cases recorded in the region since the outbreak of the pandemic. After being tagged as an emerging hotspot by the Ghana Health Services, the region currently has 12 active cases. Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumako-Boateng, says the drastic reduction in the number of cases is largely as a result of measures instituted by regional authorities.
Our main challenge actually came in August,
where for the month of August, we recorded, this is when we were declared as an emerging hotspot, and we had to put in a lot of measures to curtail this. Currently, as we are speaking, the total number of active cases that we have are 12, and I'm really excited about this state. But the challenge that we have is that 3 of them are severe cases, and handling the severe cases is tougher as compared to the asymptomatic mild cases.
Even though there is a significant reduction in cases, Dr. Abattoir admonished the people of the region to strictly adhere to the safety protocols as a means of masking out COVID from the region.
The try and tested protocols should not be abandoned. We should still continuously wear our nose mask and religiously do our hand hygiene practices and social distancing, because if you are talking about the target population to be vaccinated in Bunui is 626, 314, and only 1.6% have been vaccinated. It means that we still have a long way to go, and therefore there is a need for all of us to really adhere to the protocol until such a time that we have a sizable number of us who are fully vaccinated. So what we are still advocating, and it's a must, that we should continuously wear our mask, do the social distancing. Other than that, our Christmas will be in jeopardy.
The Directorate, though excited about the response with regards to the vaccinations, is urging all to receive the jabs as it works towards achieving 0 COVID cases in the area.
You remember the fear, our fears, especially concerning vaccine hesitancy. But to our amazement, and because it was led by the traditional authority, the kings, the chiefs themselves going for the vaccines, you have seen that the uptake is massive for Bunui. So that is the state for Bunui. And I will say that we have no other alternative but to make sure that we go when we have. And those of us who have not gotten, make every attempt to receive when it's your turn.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Kintampo.
A mathematics teacher at the Achimota School, Evans Odei, has been named as part of the top 10 finalists of the 2021 $1 million Global Teacher Prize. In an interview with Joy News, he said he had to be innovative with his style of teaching when he noticed his students were not producing the needed results. He says he had to incorporate some out-of-class activities and practical approaches to ensure his students grasp the mathematical concepts he was teaching them.
For our students. And somebody made a statement and said, if you are teaching a child and it's not getting it, maybe you can teach the child the way he wants to learn. And so if you are using a method and the method is not helping them, then why not change the method of teaching to make sure you get the maximum results? And so I always want to do something different in order to come up with the results. And so for a number of years I started teaching mathematics and I realized that the results is not coming. So I have to change the method of teaching. And so I brought in the technology, I brought in activity-based learning, project-based learning, and that's really making the impact and it's bringing the results. So then I have to go by that direction. Mathematics, people term it to be boring subject. Sometimes when you bring them outside the classroom and they do the thing practical, the concept sticks. They always remember that particular concept. But if it's always marker and board, sometimes some of them even get tired or they don't even get the reality of it. But let's demonstrate the reality of the math concept outside in more real life situation. And I'm sure that's where the student will enjoy the subject and then also they see the meaning of whatever they are learning in classroom. One of the things I want to do as a teacher is to set up labs for mathematics. You know, when we come to STEM, math is in the middle of STEM. I mean, math is part of STEM. You can't take math out of STEM. And you go to science, you have chemistry lab, physics lab, biology lab, but you don't see math lab. And so we want to set up math lab where we can get materials, technology to animate and then to bring the reality of mathematics for students to get the best out of the learning of the subject. So it won't be all theoretical means, but then it will be more practical. And so then I also also want to train other teachers like I've been doing all these years. Anytime I get opportunity to empower teachers, I always want to just be part of them, and then we facilitate workshop here and there to support them. Maths is the easiest subject in the world. It's the easiest subject. It's a misconception that people have with the subject. They think it's confusing, but it's not. So I want to tell students that they should accept the fact that maths is very real.
Indeed, math is very easy, trust me. Now, Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Kwesi Opoku-Amankwa, says the achievement has earned Evans Odei an early promotion to the next rank.
As a way of supporting teachers who take part in these programs and excel, the Global Teacher Prize, the National Teacher Prize, AU Teacher Prize, and all that, what we have done through the council, GS Governing Council, is that we give them promotion as a first step, and as a motivation, we promote them out of 10. So, irrespective of the rank that he is on now, ideally he should be waiting on that rank for about 4 years before he goes for the next promotion. But next year, in our next promotion, Mr. Evans Odei will automatically be promoted to his next stage. Beyond that, we will also arrange for a series of trainings for him, and then when he comes back, apart from teaching his students, we will also encourage him to run a series of workshops and training programs for his colleague teachers, not only in Achimota, but also other places. When we organize programs, we'll get him to be there.
More stories here on Joy News Prime. As part of measures taken to increase the number of girls assessed in education in the Techiman municipality, the Girl Child Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service is instituting strategies to get more girls back to school. The move, according to the Techiman Municipal Girl Child Coordinator, Ellen White, is to help reduce schools dropout as well as minimize poverty amongst women. There's more in the following report.
As part of a series of programs earmarked to commemorate this year's International Day of the Girl Child, the Girl Child Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service in the Techiman municipality organized a quiz competition amongst some selected senior high schools within the municipality under the theme, Digital Generation, Our Generation. The move, according to the coordinator of the unit, Mrs. Ellen White, is to help improve the positive usage of social media amongst girls.
The theme is Digital Generation, Our Generation. Yes, so today there's been a symposium. We have dealt much on the positive impact of social media. We want them to throw the negative part away. We don't want them to abuse social media, but then focus on the positive impact.
Sharavan noted that the unit is instituting measures to help improve girl child education within the municipality.
Girls Education Unit Techiman Municipal is trying. We are doing everything possible to make sure our girls are well and can in future bring about development. We want to help the government to achieve its policy, the SDG Goal 1, to reduce or eradicate poverty in Ghana. So we have taken upon ourselves to make sure there is sensitization all the time. We do a lot of radio sensitizations. Last month, we were able to bring together some of our girls who delivered during the COVID. Yes, and by God's grace, we've been able to bring about 33 of them back to the classroom. So I think we are doing our best. We are trying our best.
Municipal Director of Education John Kwadwo Amisa expressed worry at the number of children hawkers in the municipality and called on parents to allow their children access to schools in order to grant them better future.
When you drive through town or you even go to the hinterlands, you find school-going children roaming about in the villages or some peddling or hawking on our streets. And for Techiman Municipal, probably we can attribute this to the fact that it has become the center of trade in our country. Those who are coming from the north probably make a stopover. You very often find many young girls and many young boys walking in our streets. The advice that we will give is that whether they are transiting through here to Accra or to the south to do business, we will encourage parents to discontinue this practice.
Founder for Aid for Girls Foundation, who are partners to the program, Joyce Kunadu Aidan, encouraged girls to venture into the study of information and communications technology in order to help promote themselves when they are out of school.
When it comes to the use of computers, we have a lot of boys, because boys usually love playing games, usually love communicating online, and our girls love doing the handiwork, but we need to start educating them in how to use the internet, even in their handiworks. Now, if you're a business person and you can't promote yourself on the internet or online, you can't get the masses, because everyone is interested in the internet service now. So I would advise that even in our homes, in our schools, teachers will teach our young girls how to get themselves involved in the computerized system.
Reporting for Joy News, Anas Sabit, Tichima.
Joy News Prime with me, Anas Mini. We're taking a break. When we return, we have more business and sports. Please stay.
And in business, the Institute of Economic Affairs has charged government to take bold and innovative measures to mobilize resources and allocate them judiciously to support long-term sustainable growth. Now, this, it believes, is capable of delivering sufficiently high living standards to Ghanaians and moving the country out of poverty within a generation. This is a disclosure of its expectations of the 2022 budget and economic planning. Charles Nexenia Boab has more.
The IEA said Ghana has a serious challenge with domestic resource mobilization, and as such, year-on-year domestic revenue falls short of budget targets. However, the revenue targets themselves are not sufficiently ambitious vis-à-vis the country's needs. This has compelled the government to resort to borrowing. It attributed the problem to huge tax revenue losses, along with inadequate coverage of the tax system and administrative lapses. On resource allocation, the IEA said the distribution of expenditure is clearly imprudent, injudicious, and inefficient, and certainly serious expenditure rationalization and rebalancing is necessary. On public debt, the economic and policy think tank expressed concern about the debt service burden. This year, it is projected that as much as 56% of tax revenue will be used to pay interest on the debt. This level of debt service, the IEA said, poses risk for fiscal sustainability and the country's sovereign rating. It therefore recommended measures such as debt ceiling and fiscal consolidation to deal with the debt risk on a more lasting basis. On economic transformation, it called for a strong industrialization drive to transform the economy away from production of low value-added commodities into high value-added production.
Meanwhile, partner at accounting and auditing firm Deloitte has called for the review of some taxes in the 2022 budget to boost businesses' capacity to create jobs. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
On a whole, we've seen that government programs and policies, some of them have been strictly implemented and are yielding some positive results. So if you see the first and second quarters of the year, the economy expanded by an average about 3.5%. And those were largely driven by sectors, some of which were hit by the pandemic. So strongly driving the economy in the first half of the year is the services sector.
All right.
Particularly, we are seeing a lot of activity in the hotel and hospitality subsectors of the service sector.
All right.
I think those are good ones here.
So what are expectations for that of 2022 to be presented next month? We're hearing the finance minister already hint of policies to guide entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so I think for us, some of the points that were made in the previous budget, which I guess we suggested to government to take another look at, was the new taxes that were introduced.
All right.
So, for instance, the National Health Insurance Levy that was increased by 1 percentage point, taxes that were introduced for the banking sector, financial sector cleanup. Once government reviews them, we expect businesses to benefit from those taxes here.
Away from that, Director of Crop Service at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Seth Osei Akoto, says organic fertilizers are environmentally friendly to the agric system. Of course, according to him, the promotion of organic agriculture is to educate farmers on the use of organic fertilizer to increase their productivity. He spoke at the National Dissemination and Policy Workshop for Productivity, Profitability and Sustainability of Organic Farming. We have more in this report.
Government's policy and effort to promote regenerative farming practices and promotion of ecological organic agriculture is to address challenges associated with negative impacts of climate change and combat food insecurity. At a workshop, Pro-Eco Africa and Organic Food System Africa Research explained the benefits of using organic fertilizers. Here is the lead specialist, Innovation Systems and Partnerships of Forum for Agricultural Research in Africa, Dr. Oluwole Fatumbi.
As part of this, our research, we have data to prove this, but it has not been fully analyzed. And so based on speculation anyway, we can say that it is believed that a product from organic agriculture is safer, is better, because you are not going to be having pesticide residue, for instance, in them. But how much of pesticide residue also do you find in product of conventional agriculture? You know, these are research issues that we must bring out concrete data and evidence that goes beyond one location, okay, to be able to make concrete response. There is need to conduct more research and provide resources. I mean, when I say resources, maybe technologies that will help us achieve higher productivity.
The Director for Crop Service at the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, Dr. Seth Osei Akoto, opined that organic fertilizers are environmentally friendly and will not cause harm to crop production. He also said the ministry is promoting the use of organic fertilizers to increase productivity in agriculture.
When it comes to the adoption, most farmers are aware of the inorganic fertilizers rather than organic fertilizers. That is why concerted efforts are being made, including what we have met here, for the whole world to know that organic fertilizers also can work if we increase the promotion and adoption of organic fertilizers into our farming systems. If you compare the inorganic fertilizers and organic fertilizers, we believe that organic fertilizers are friendly in terms of environmental issues. And also with the consciousness of some farmers or consumers preferring organic food. So people are also conscious that if you go to the market, organic fertilizers are, in terms of reference, is better.
James Ishen's report for Joy Business.
Well, that'll be it for business, but we'll leave you with international business summary, after which we do have sports. To stay with us.
Many thanks for staying with us. Time to bring you sports. And Chirano Gold Mines on Tuesday presented a 33-seater VIP Grand Bed bus to BBN Gold Stars FC for their participation in the Ghana Premier League. Gold Stars will, for the first time in their 24-year history, be participating in the elite division of Ghana football after coming close several times. The BBN-based club secured a historic Ghana Premier League promotion from Zone 2 of the Division 1 League with 2 games to the end of the season under former coach Kobina Emisa. Love FM's Delali Atiase was at the presentation ceremony and has come through with his report.
The presentation ceremony was graced by chiefs of the Western North region, government officials, as well as management and staff of Mensim Bibiani Goldfields and Chirano Mines. General Manager of Chirano Gold Mines, Terence Watungwa, is hopeful that the donation will help the team travel comfortably to their league matches during the season.
Today, Chirano Gold Mines is proud to present this bus to Bibiani Gold Stars Football Club to provide the team with a safe and comfortable means of transportation as they compete in this prestigious Ghana Premier League.
Mr. Watungwa, who doubles as the Vice President of Chirano Mines, said the gesture goes to strengthen Chirano Mines' obligation to being an excellent corporate organization.
This donation reinforces our commitment to being an outstanding corporate citizen and a strategic partner in the socio-economic development of the Western North region of Ghana. Many clubs never reach the pinnacle of association football, but you have succeeded. The Bibiani Gold Stars have indeed glorified their motto, G Nyame. We at Chirano Gold Mines believe that you as a team have the skill needed to stay in the Premier League. But to successfully compete in this high level, the football club requires support and assistance in many ways. It is for this reason that Chirano Gold Mines is very glad to support the club with this bus donation.
On his part, Chief Executive Officer of Gold Stars, Kwesi Edu, re-echoed calls for unity amongst the supporters of the club while acknowledging the support from Chirano and Mensim Mines towards the growth and development of the club.
This gathering here today is something that I call it a privileged gathering, and it's a historic one, of course. We are so happy to see something beautiful in front of us. Nothing but a 33-seater VIP garnet bus. We're hoping this is a sign of unity that football can bring to the society. And for seeing people all around the Western North region coming together to unveil such a facility, it calls for an utmost unity, and with unity of purpose, we can carry the name Bibiani Gold Stars and the Western North to a higher height. Once again, I'm very much privileged to see all the founding members of Gold Stars around. They should be happy and proud to see the upliftment of Gold Stars to this far. And probably when they go back to their sleep, they should dream for seeing something better and improve Gold Stars in the near years to come.
Meanwhile, the management of Bibiani Gold Stars says the dance park, which has been okayed by the GFA's club licensing board, is ready to host Premier League matches. Indeed, 2 months ago, when this team visited the facility, it was nowhere near how it's looking now. With the stands almost ready and the safe zone well in place, all look set for Gold Stars to host their first game of the season against Brekum Chelsea on Sunday, according to club CEO Kwesi Edu.
I think it has been a sleepless night job. After the qualification process, I need to get my engineers on board. We sat down and did a strategy that, look, we need to get the minimum requirement that will get the team the nod to play in Bibiani Dance Park. And we realized that the basic requirement, one, was the safe zone area and getting the inner perimeter well resourced, and also getting the underground tunnel so that players coming from the dressing room will be safe. Looking at the criteria set by the club licensing board, those were the basic requirement. So we matched all our resources towards that. Looking at the stadium as it stands now, we understand that there's a lot more to do, but we tried as much as possible to get the basics done, and it was rightly done point by point. You realize the last time we came here about 2 months ago, we didn't have a certain facilities here.
Yeah, there was not even the
yes, and we were so much of a lengthy or in a rush to get the narrative for Dance Park to change. And rightly, we have gotten the narrative change for Dance Park.
The presentation ceremony was graced by chiefs of the Western North region, government officials, as well as management and staff of Mensim Bibiani Goldfields and Chirano Mines. General Manager.
Now, President of the Ghana Basketball Association, David Ashon, has described his soon-to-end administration as challenging. The basketball scene in Ghana has long been very vibrant, especially at a grassroots level where senior secondary schools and tertiary institutions compete against one another. However, same cannot be said about progress being made at the national level. David Ashon explains why.
I think I would describe it in one word or two. It hasn't been an easy tenure of office. One, you don't have resources, and we came with a lot of enthusiasm and tried to get sponsorship, etc., etc. We got a little, as I've mentioned, and those two companies were wonderful. But there's a difference. If you look at Sprite Ball, they were able to get sponsorship from Coca-Cola. It's not as if we didn't approach Coca-Cola as a national team, but they take rational commercial decisions. Who has the eyes? Our national team going to play in Mozambique or Sprite Ball? And clearly Sprite Ball is a much more attractive option if you are a sponsor, because you're seeking to promote your product. So I come from a commercial background on newspaper. In providing sponsorship, you look at various things, and you look at the key thing is what kind of exposure am I getting? And it is easier, therefore, to attract sponsorship for events than it is for the national program. And to do the national program, we need some government support in addition to whatever we can mop up.
That's it for sports. Just by way of updating the AFL Cup, Manchester City have lost on penalties 4-3 against West Ham United. So West Ham move on to the next stage of the EFL Cup. That's it for me. You can read more sports at myjoyonline.com/sports.
And that's it for Joy News Prime. Many thanks for joining us. You'll find more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. I'm Ernest Menu.